In the days when I was losing myself in a world of confusion and self-doubt, Jo Maylene appeared beside him. She was younger, more beautiful, and infinitely more charming than me. Li Xuan began to drift away, staying out late for her. He could no longer see how, with every step I took, I was falling into the shadows of pain. Alone, I feel countless times, clinging to the walls for support, my body trembling in agony. But the worst part was the fear, the overwhelming terror that filled me each time. I would cry out for help, calling the doctor to save me, all the while knowing that the one person I wanted most to care for me was lost in someone else's arms. Li Xuan was by my side only when it was too late. He lifted me into the hospital bed, his eyes searching for an answer, and when he bent over to kiss my forehead, a tear fell on my cheek. He stood up abruptly, his voice bitter with accusation. "Li Yun, you're incredible. If you want to leave me, just say it. If you want me to go, I'll go. I know you don't need me anymore." His words stabbed through me, yet I stayed silent, pretending to sleep. He continued, his voice breaking as he added, "But I need you." I said nothing. I simply closed my eyes, letting the silence speak for me. Li Xuan never understood why I had ended our relationship. The day he returned to me, wanting to marry me, I planned to tell him everything. He deserved the truth. He deserved to know that all the harsh words I had said when we broke up had been lies, born from my fear of losing him and my own crippling insecurities. He was a good man, someone who deserved the world, and someone who would have a beautiful, happy life with the right woman. Just not me. But I couldn't bear to say it to him. I couldn't be the one to destroy him with the truth. I couldn't be the one to ruin his future happiness. So before I could explain, he interrupted, "Li Yun, when I said I wanted to marry you, I wasn't asking for your permission. I was telling you." He smirked coldly, adding, "You should be grateful that I am still here." It was a harsh truth I didn't want to accept, but it was a truth nonetheless. He didn't want an explanation, and even if he did, it didn't matter. He would make my life more miserable than I ever made his. That was fair, he said. I was left with a strange emptiness, unable to speak, unable to explain why I could never be the person he wanted me to be. My heart ached in a way that only deep, unspoken love could bring. I didn't respond, not to his anger, not to his demands. Instead, I told him simply that I didn't want to get married, that I didn't want to be trapped by promises that would only hurt us both. Li Xuan's temper flared. "I heard that Jo Maylene used to work at a nightclub. She's lucky enough to find a good boyfriend. What do you think would happen if he knew about her past?" His words were cruel, and I couldn't hold back my anger. With a slap, I struck him across the face, shouting at him to leave. But he didn't back off. Instead, he grinned, tightening his grip on my chin and murmuring, "Li Yun, I'll make you regret this. You think I'm ruthless now? You haven't seen anything yet." His threat chilled me to the core, and I couldn't help but fear for Maylene, knowing she was the one who would pay the price for my unwillingness to fight for what was mine. As time passed, I grew weaker, not just in body but in spirit. Li Xuan's affection for me had long since turned into something darker, more possessive. Maylene, in her innocence, didn't understand the depth of the manipulation. But soon she would. One evening, as I lay in bed, my body heavy with pain and my thoughts clouded by despair, Jo Maylene visited me. Chow Chow, my loyal friend, was beside me, fiercely protective, and she immediately confronted Maylene. "Bitches aren't welcome here," she spat. "If you don't leave, I swear I'll make sure you regret it." But Maylene wasn't the same girl who had once been so sweet and innocent. She knelt beside my bed, tears streaming down her face as she begged me. "Sister Li Yun, I'm carrying Li Xuan's child. Please, let me have him. You're dying and I need him to raise my baby." The weight of her words hit me like a ton of bricks. Maylene was 3 months pregnant, and I was slowly withering away. Li Xuan had promised me that he needed me, but he had already moved on to her. His words had been empty. I stayed silent as Maylene reached for my arm, nearly dragging me off the bed. But I had no strength left, and Chow Chow was quick to intervene, her nails tearing into Maylene's skin as she protected me. Shocked, Maylene didn't know what to do as Li Xuan stormed into the room, furious. He grabbed her by the hair and dragged her out of the room, cursing her with words that made my blood run cold. "Didn't I tell you not to touch my wife? Stay away from her, or I swear I'll make you regret this." With that, he left, leaving me feeling more isolated than ever. Chow Chow looked at me with concern in her eyes. "Li Yun, are you okay?" she asked softly. "Is there anything I can do?" I forced a weak smile, covering my pain as best as I could. "My heart hurts," I said quietly. "I think I need to go out, take a walk. It might make me feel better." Chow Chow, concerned but determined, agreed, and we went out together. We drove to a high-end bridal shop, a place I had always dreamed of visiting. I watched as Chow Chow tried on a beautiful wedding dress, her laughter light and carefree. But I knew, deep down, that my time was running out. We took photos together in the bridal shop, and I promised myself that even if I couldn't be there for her wedding, I would be with her in spirit. After all, she was the best person I knew, and she deserved the most beautiful life. But reality was cruel. I could no longer hide the pain. I bought the dress for her, then went to visit my mother's grave. The goodbye felt final, as though I were closing a chapter that could never be opened again. Li Xuan, despite everything, still couldn't let go. He spent nights thinking about me, regretting everything he had done, asking himself why I had broken up with him. But by the time he finally understood, it was too late. I was gone, and all he had left were his memories. He tried to move on, but the guilt weighed heavily on him. He thought of me every day, of the love we once shared, but it was all lost. And so, in the end, the only thing Li Xuan had left was the broken remnants of a love that never stood a chance, a love that was too fragile to survive in a world full of mistakes and regrets. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to our channel for more heart-wrenching tales and life lessons. Share this with someone who needs to hear it, and let's spread the power of love, redemption, and hope. Stay tuned for more stories right here on Stories and Giggles.